Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today, I want to kind of make a response video. My response is going to be to NerosCinema, and his video about Requisitions. Now, if you don't know, Requisitions was actually nerfed here in a recent update. They've made the more expensive kill streaks even more expensive with Requisitions. Now, whether or not I think that's appropriate or not is still to be determined. I'll talk about my thoughts on that specifically later. But also within this update, we got Domination 75, something that the community has been asking for so many months, pretty much ever since the release of World War II. In fact, the community has sort of been asking for a nerf to Requisitions for about as long as World War II has been out as well. So in this update, we got a nerf to Requisitions and we got Domination 75, both things that the community were just begging for. And Nero doesn't like this. Even though he was asking for both of these things, he doesn't like this change. And I'll tell you why. With Domination 50, if you used Requisitions, it would take you more kills to get the higher kill streaks than it now does with Domination 75 and the nerfed version of Requisitions. It is easier now to get the higher tier kill streaks in Domination 75 despite the fact that Requisitions was nerfed. That's what Nero has a problem with, and to that I just have to respond, get over it. Like, as politely as I can, of course, but it's like, Sledgehammer has done both things that the community has wanted to. The community was at an outcry for Domination 100, Domination 75. People wanted Domination 100. They thought that was the best one. And it's just, this is a microcosm of the entire Call of Duty community and what's wrong with the entire Call of Duty community. We beg and we plead and we want this and this will just fix the game, and then it happens and we actually get what we want and oh, it's just the worst, and how could the developers do this? This is stupid. This makes the game worse. People who just begged for Domination 100 and thought that would just be the end-all be-all to their fix for domination in World War II didn't have the foresight to think about the other balancing factors within the game, such as Requisitions, and even Ordnance for that matter. When this whole Requisitions thing was brought up, Prestigious Key made a fantastic video about why he believed that Requisitions was just fine. I've tweeted it out. I might link it in the description, or I might put it on screen if I remember. Please, post-production, Billy, please remember this. He said the same argument. People who are crying for Requisitions and crying for Domination 100 don't know what they're talking about, and he was 100% right. People who cried for both of these things have zero idea of what they actually want. As far as Requisitions, if they had to nerf it, I think they did a decent job. I've seen the numbers. I haven't actually played with the new update quite yet, but except for the ball turret gunner might be a little bit on the high side, but then again, you know, if you have an explosive game, you kind of get that. But the really balancing factor that I didn't like about, what did we have? We had like something in Infinite Warfare. We had like a specialist ability in Infinite Warfare that lets you have support streaks like we do in Requisitions right now. And the problem that I had with that was that you could have the best score. You could be Marka J. You can have you could be XCal. You can have the highest score ever, and you could still not obtain those higher tier kill streaks, which is kind of defeating the purpose of Requisitions, you know, like it or not. And so hopefully, if these higher numbers actually kind of gate good players versus bad players, and, you know, high score players versus low score players, if they do create that divide to where the only people calling in those higher tier kill streaks are the really high score per minute players, then I think that's great. And as long as those higher kill streaks are available for the players who do have that higher score per minute, that would be fantastic. And I think hopefully this is just the minor change that we need. And Domination 75, I think that's fantastic. You know, Domination 100 was a little too chaotic for my taste, but I think Domination 75 is going to sit really nicely in terms of the balance for the score streaks. You know, instead of revamping the entire score streak system and rebalancing all that, just throwing in a Domination 75, I think will be a happy medium. I have all the respect in the world for Nero and his channel, and he has fantastic opinions, and even if I disagree with him, he always comes from a somewhat logical perspective, at least. But this one instance, this one time, it just bugged me. Just like complaining that Sledgehammer actually nerfed Requisitions and actually gave us Domination 75, giving us what we wanted, and then complaining about one really minor, small detail, one small circumstance of those changes is like asking for like an iPod or something for Christmas and complaining that it's the wrong color when you get it. It's just so petty, and it's so, it just grinds me. It just rubs me the wrong way. It's one of the reasons, and this is probably not a good thing for me to say, but it's one of the reasons why I believe that the Call of Duty multiplayer community is just one of the most toxic, selfish, childish communities out there. Sledgehammer, especially the last couple months, has been updating and changing and improving this game and giving the community exactly what it asks for. And still we're here complaining like, oh, the master prestiges don't get anything. If the gameplay is not reward enough, you probably shouldn't be playing the game. Alright, well, there's my rant. There's my little mini rant that I just had building up inside of me that I just had to get out of there. And like I said, all the respect for Nero. I think he's fantastic. One of my favorite Call of Duty YouTubers, actually, if I'm being completely honest. But I just had to bring that to everybody's attention. And I know maybe you guys might share a similar opinion to me. But anyway, that's all I have time for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning. I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.